Hello, I'm Matt Kropp. I'm the chief manager of the Vermont Solidarity Investing Club, which invests in co-ops in Vermont. And so we're going to be reviewing the city market member loan campaign coming up in the next month. And so to learn more about that, I'll be having a conversation today with Allison Hope of City Market, who has been around there a while, wears a number of hats. Allison, do you want to introduce yourself and
Sure.
talk about what you do?
Thank you. So I'm Allison Hope. I'm the Director of Community Engagement, and I have been at the co-op for 12 years. So I started just after we did our last member loan campaign back in 2002. I started in finance, worked my way through part of our HR department, and have been in community engagement for the last 7 or 8 years. Our community engagement team has a pretty broad reach at the co-op and with our membership and our community, which is delightful. So all of the signage you see in the co-op, inside and outside the co-op, all of the advertising, all of the social media, the website, all of our membership work, our membership benefits, all of our outreach, sponsorship, donations, classes, larger events, and a lot of the customer experience that works its way through the store is part of the community engagement department.
Cool. And so the big project for how long now? Last 18 months, 2 years?
Easily over 2 years. So if you go back, let's see, John Tashiro is our general manager now. Before that was Pat Burns, and before that was Clem Nyland. And Clem was the one who hired me on as director of community engagement. And at that time, we were really just starting to look around for locations in Burlington and Winooski for a second store.
And so that's nearing completion. It sounds like is November the current goal date, or where's that?
The week before Thanksgiving is the current goal date. So people can members and customers can pick up their fresh local turkeys, hopefully at the South End store, as well as downtown, of course.
And so kind of as that's nearing completion, this member loan campaign is being launched. Do you want to talk a little bit about how kind of it fits strategically with the overall kind of goal of opening the new store, and kind of what the role of this money is in the bigger picture?
Wonderful. The role of this money is going to be really, really important in making sure that the South End store opens and is successful. Clem Nyland, who was our general manager about 5 years ago, was the one who really helped impart to me why a member loan campaign is so important as part of the South End tour. So really just making members feel like a part of that South End store, understanding that their participation, not just in shopping at the co-op or running for the board or doing member work, or cashing their patronage refund check and spending it locally, but also investing in our expansion is really important. And so our pro forma for the South End location includes at least $1.5 million in member loans. By comparison, when we did our first loan campaign in 2002, we raised about $378,000. So this is a much bigger goal than earlier.
Mm-hmm. And so kind of when thinking about sort of outreach and timing and all of that, sort of what's the game plan kind of going forward between now and November, turkey time?
November 12th. Yeah, so November 12th is technically when the loan campaign ends, but the board can extend it if they want to. So we've got 6 weeks to raise $1.5 million. And so working with you as part of that outreach, it's very grassroots in that I have all of the packets spread out on my kitchen table, and I have targeted members that we're going to start sending those packets to. I handwrite because I want people to know that I'm paying attention to each and every member that we're sending this to. I put a personal note inside every single packet, and I ship them off 50 at a time. So 150 have already gone out in the mail with all of the details, just asking people to support us. And I cross-reference that, of course, with the list of folks who gave in 2002. And we've just started putting up signage inside the store as well. So then we'll do some individual meetings with people, and we'll do some stakeholder sessions as well. But it's going to be an intense 6 weeks.
So let's get into a little bit of the kind of nitty gritty specifics in terms of what are the terms, who can invest, are there limits on the amount any people can invest, rate of return, all of that stuff. Like what's the structure?
Beautiful. So we have 6 different types of notes, and I can go over those in more detail. The minimum, if you're an employee of the co-op, is $1,000. And the minimum if you're a member but not an employee is $2,500. And the reason for that was we wanted employees to be very engaged in this process as well, and we wanted to make sure that it was accessible to them no matter what their capacity was. So as an aside, the member loan campaign that we did back in 2002 actually had a $3,000 minimum. So we lowered the minimum to make it more accessible to members, but we have to balance that against the administrative tasks of helping people fill out the paperwork, calling people, mailing to people, meeting with people, depositing checks, and making sure that everything's done correctly. Minimums. If somebody wants to loan more than $25,000, there's no maximum, but if you're loaning more than $25,000, the laws state that you have to fill out, you have to be a Vermont certified investor. And if that's something you normally do, you know what paperwork is associated with that, and we can walk people through it. It's not a big deal. The interest rates vary, so they go from 0 to 3.5%, and those are indexed against our construction loan with Muskoma Bank. So we didn't want to pay more than we were paying Muskoma, but we wanted to pay a fair rate of return for folks. And there are maturity rates that are at 6, 8, 10, and 12 years out. And so between the 6 notes that we have available with different interest rates, people get to choose how much they want to loan the co-op, for what time period, and for what interest rate. And then some of those buckets will fill if they're more popular than others. So if folks have something that really interests them, they should get in sooner rather than later so that particular bucket doesn't fill. And then we'll just keep on tracking from there. So we're excited. I know when I was our benefits manager, I worked for a really long time to find investment vehicles, especially for 401k, to match our employees' values. It's not easy to find things like that offer a decent rate of return. So more than your bank account and more than some of the existing CDs that are out there. And I think that our member loan campaign really offers that opportunity to all members in a way that's really accessible. Folks can pool their money together like your investment club is doing. It has to be under one member's name, and the member has to be a resident of Vermont, so a primary resident of Vermont, but that's it. We need to raise more than $500,000 or we have to return it all. Those are the rules. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. But we can raise up to $5 million. So really $1.5 million is our stated goal. If we can raise more than that, we'd really like to raise more than that to make sure that the South End store is successful.
And then for the, so it's kind of a choose your own term and interest rate type arrangement. Yep. And so it has to be a Vermont resident. Does it have to be individual members or business members allowed to also make investments? Business members
are allowed to make investments. And so back when we had our 2002 campaign, Vermont Preservation Trust was actually the largest lender of funds to that campaign. So the first $85,000. Which was delightful. So we will be looking to we have a lot of business members who support the co-op in a number of different ways, and we will be looking to have individual meetings with them to reach out as well.
And then, so you mentioned the retirement piece of things. So the main mechanism I'm aware of for kind of putting retirement funds into this sort of vehicle is the self-directed IRA. So are you guys kind of prepared or have looked into, the mechanics of if anyone wants to sort of invest through that route?
No, we haven't actually. So it's just going to be straight checks in that sense. So I was just trying to compare folks who wanted to invest over the long term, and the struggles we've had just on our retirement side with finding investment vehicles that match our employees' values. And in this case, what we're offering to all members is an investment vehicle anywhere between 6 and 12 matches their values, because they're investing in a business that they own, always be local community. So I am not prepared to receive retirement investments as part of this campaign, however.
Oh, cool. And so looking at the next 6 weeks in terms of people wanting to find more, having kind of like one-on-one conversations with folks about this. Are you going? So you said there's going to be displays in the store. Are you planning any sort of educational or outreach events that folks might want to sort of put on their calendars or anything like that?
Not yet. The initial conversations are going to be one-on-one. So every single person that we direct mail a packet to will get a follow-up phone call in the next couple of weeks from someone on our small team of phone callers, so that we can just have conversations about how the co-op has impacted them, any stories they want to share. And I think that's going to be the wonderful part of this campaign, is really getting a chance to talk to members one-on-one in a way that we haven't in a really long time as we've gotten so big. So we'll talk to folks individually, and then our customer service desk just gives out my cell phone number. So frankly, anytime, day or night, my cell phone is always with. Welcome to call me. I'll that 22-page offering on my person or on my downloaded on my phone somewhere. So if folks have questions or want to review it, I am happy to talk to any member who is also a resident of the state of Vermont about the member loan campaign. So my cell phone number is 802-777-co-op.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. You're sad you didn't get it, aren't you? So it's easy to remember, and folks can just call me. I'm just going to answer the phone. Hi, this is Allison. And people can ask whatever it is they want to ask about the campaign. But if people are interested and ready to talk about it, then I am too.
And is are the offering documents available on the website, or do you need to sort of do an outreach specifically because of that intrastate thing?
No, they're right there on the website, and we offered them on the website because we won't take your paperwork. You can read about it, but we won't take your paperwork unless you're a member. And if you want to give us a check and you're not a member yet, you can pay your equity at the same time, and that would be just fine. But you can read about it, and you can only fill out the paperwork, and we will only take your check and deposit it into the escrow account if you're a resident of the state and have equity with us. So our website is citymarket.coop/member loan.
Awesome. And then, so those documents have, I assume, things like, up-to-date financials and stuff like that?
Yep. So the confidential offering is very long, but all the information anyone would want to know about the campaign is right there, as well as the cover letter that we're sending out to members.
Cool. Any other things that we missed, or other elements to this campaign that you feel like are important to get out there?
So we see this campaign as part of what I call our three-legged stool. So there are going to be plenty of people who don't have the capacity to offer a loan to the co-op right now, and that's fine. We want them to be a part of this. There are also plenty of people who can pay their equity. I say pay it up. You pay your equity up. So a full share of equity at the co-op is, of course, $200, and a lot of people pay in $15 annual payments. And so if you have $30 in, and you can pay towards that $200 or pay more than that $200, then that also helps with our cash flow situation as we go to expand. And equity is always your money. So we hang on to it until you're ready to invest in another co-op, if you're moving away, or whatever the situation may be. And the other piece of this in the near term will be a member drive. So as we open the South End store, we'd like to grow our membership at the same rate or greater than what our sales are growing at. And so if you're not a member, what a great way to support the co-op, but investing your equity and becoming a member and sharing with the community why you are a member of the co-op. So we'll have a member drive, an equity drive, and a member loan campaign happening at different times this fall. We'll be sending out our patronage refund checks right about November 9th. And we get a question at a member meeting this year about how folks could donate their patronage checks to the member loan campaign. And since the loan campaign is a loan campaign. We probably won't go that route, but I would encourage folks who want to use their patronage refund checks to support expansion to either spend that money at the co-op or return it to pay up your equity. And we would just put that right on your account. And still wonderful ways to really support the co-op, whether or not you can participate in the member loan campaign. So we want everyone to feel like they're a part of this. And as a side note, the muralists started painting yesterday. So on the outside of the building, we've got Abby Manick on one side doing murals on either side of the cafe space. And then around the corner on Flynn Avenue, we have Deanna Curley and Haley Rockwood of the Poppy Clock Collective already starting their like 575 square foot mural on the Flynn Avenue side. So people should go over and take a look.
Nice.
And we have Tara Garreau, our downtown muralist, designing T-shirts for the staff to celebrate the opening.
One other question that occurred to me is just sort of depending on how successful the campaign is. You said it could go up to 5 million. So is there a point if it kind of gets up into that range at which it'll be kind of pushing down the cost of capital for the co-op from other sources, or because one of the things that came up at the annual meeting was the idea that patronage refunds might be a bit more slim in the next few years. And so does the sort of more member loans mean kind of like, a faster path towards that profitability again?
That is a really great way to put it. So more member loans at variable interest rates means that we're borrowing less from the bank. Which means that it may be a faster path towards profitability. I'm also hopeful that our numbers are very conservative in terms of what we're expecting for sales. But what we really expect is slim is a nice way to talk about future patronage. I think that in future years, we may not have patronage. And so you and I had this conversation about really all of those other reasons that people belong to the co-op. And there are so many co-ops that can't afford to pay out patronage on a regular basis that they have to make the case for why it's important for people to join the co-op, whether or not you're getting money back on the profits that the co-op makes from sales to members. And so supporting the community, supporting the food shelf, the member worker program, the way that we pay our vendors and support our vendors through loan programs, the patronage seedling grant program we have with our member committee that makes those decisions. There's so many reasons to join the co-op, and patronage is just one. But in the near term, we probably won't have a patronage refund program, and we'll have to really show the community all those other benefits of co-op membership and owning the business where you shop, which we can do.
Yeah. I think you can probably pull it off. So any other kind of logistical things for people kind of thinking about this? And I guess one other thing in terms of the terms, is it the sort of thing where over the course of the term the interest is paid each year, or the interest accrues and then the principal and interest is paid off all at once? How is that structured?
That's a great question. So the interest is paid annually, and there's a principal payment made at the maturation of the loan. Okay.
So it's once a year, that interest is paid, and then it's just the principal paid off at the end.
Exactly. Great question.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I think that covers all of the questions that I had. Any final thoughts before you get on to hustle in this app?
Call 776 questions. Check out the website and bike walk or drive by the store. It looks amazing, and the murals are going to change every day. Those artists have construct up every time they start painting, so we'll have some time lapse video as well. But really coming together. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to share about this, and good luck with this work going forward, because it's
Thank you. It is. All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you. And